Hello viewers, my name is Chase Clover, and this is my review on the July 9th, 2014 edition of USW Wednesday Night Intensity number 78. We have a few weeks to go until Ultimate Consequence 2014, and tonight we had quite a few matches, quite a few returns, and it looked like it was better than the Monday Night Raw in WWE from about 2 weeks ago. Now, I recall telling you that I would, at the end of last week's video, I recall telling you that I would tell you the Bulletproof Series leaderboard, and I did not do that. So, at the end of this review, I will tell you the Bulletproof Series leaderboard. So, tonight, or last night, was a very good show. Excuse me. I liked the product. The product was solid. They had the advertisements for the video game that they produced. They didn't have quite a few, which is good because you don't want that over advertisement to continuously pop up and be mentioned. So you don't want to have, after every match, or in between every match, oh, go buy this video game, it's great, and all that. Because, even with that, this is still their first video game. So I could see why they would want a lot of advertisement. But then again, I'm glad that they didn't because, it is their first video game. They do have a lot to work on because I've had the video game. I've kind of been addicted to it. And it's very good. It's a very good video game. There are a few problems with it, and I'll mention that in my video game review that I put out later this week. I will mention that in my video game review. That'll come out maybe around this week, maybe next week. I've been hooked on it. I've been playing 5 mode for a while. I'm trying to get those game score points by beating every level. A lot of people, haven't bought the game because Zach Hardy's on the cover. Simply put, Zach Hardy sucks now, so nobody's going to want to buy that game if you're a huge Hardy hater. But, anyway, off the game, off that subject or topic or whatever, tonight was a good show. I enjoyed the matches. The scenes were solid. And all in all, the matches were very high tempo. The one that I didn't necessarily like was the Gringo vs. Cannon match, but I will get into that later. And I think the Majigeta vs. Western Light match could have ended a different way. But yes, we had a few returns. And I will quickly run down the returns. Last week we had Anarchy return. This is his first real match tonight. We had Dustin Raymond return for the first time in a few months. Chain Reaction return for the first time in a few months. And Fernandez return for the first time in a few months. So, those, returns, hopefully those set up for rivalries going into, the near future for USW, because rivalries can do a lot for USW. Although I have a feeling that they aren't gonna be getting done rivalries soon enough. Because of the fact that, they're starting to get new with rivalries, and they're trying to, solidate them up, and since they've been working on rivalries for a while, I feel like they've got a lot of options on where to go, so it's going to be harder to find a good option on how to end the rivalry. So, if you're going to see an Anarchy vs. Ash rivalry, expect that rivalry to go on for a while. So, you might as well enjoy it. USW might want to make it exciting, add a stipulation or two, something like that. But anyways, let's get into this review, the July 9th edition of Intensity. We start off with the announcers talking about how Kyle Reese is not here. Then they have highlights from his match against Enigma last week, and then the beatdown. And then they talk about how there's going to be someone else taking over for the night, and there's going to be the main event, Enigma vs. Yo-Yo Joe. We'll get into that later. where they talked a little bit about the things. They had highlights from last week's episode, and looked pretty solid. But yeah, that's that. First match of the night was a Bulletproof Series match, and none of the Bulletproof Series matches, I believe, were for points. I don't think they were point-based. I think these matches were just to have, and if you won, you did not get a point. So it'd be good to disqualify yourself and wait, and keep your energy for the next few Bulletproof Series matches that consist for points. I guess it's kind of like a break or something. And I think after Ultimate Consequence, there's going to be 2 people left in the Bulletproof Series. I think they're going to cut down the Bulletproof Series and eliminate a bunch of people. And in that case, it will become, where, the Bulletproof Series will go down to 2 people, and then at a pay-per-view, those 2 people will compete for a shot at the championship and to see who wins the Bulletproof Series. I'm looking forward to that match. Right now we have Rush, Prophecy, and DHIG in the top. Greyhound needs to get some points for second place, but it looks like it's either Rush, Prophecy, or DHIG being eliminated only. But either way, those are 3 great performers. They've been doing well in the Bulletproof Series. Rush really got ahead, and yeah, this match was very good. It was high tempoed. It was up tempoed. And it was enjoyable. So, it was Prophecy versus Philip Akron, and Philip Akron beat Prophecy. That gained him 7 points, and I believe now he's getting closer to Gringo. I think he's still like 10 points behind him. But either way, I don't think Philip Akron, Gringo, Greyhound, or Cannon will be in the Bulletproof Series. And actually, now that I'm looking at the leaderboards, I think Cannon's in 4th place and Greyhound's in 5th place. I think they mistook that. But I think it's Cannon who, it's possible that he can get a few victories and get to the 2nd place, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But anyway, Prophecy and Philip Akron fought back and forth. Philip Akron got his powerhouse hits, and Prophecy got a bunch of comebacks, and Philip Akron was able to win, though, with a power bomb or something like that. And so Philip Akron won by pin. And, yeah, it was an interesting match. I feel like Prophecy and Cannon are going to be the tag team champions for a while. Maybe even possibly break Switchblade and Blade's streak of 102 days. But, yes, it was a very good match. Well, yeah, it was a very good match, and I enjoyed it. It was interesting to watch, and if I had to put them in a pay-per-view match against each other, possibly at Ultimate Consequence, I would probably do it whereas Philip Akron would have to get on Prophecy's nerves, because you want to build Philip Akron up more. He was a former world champion. Prophecy is gaining the ranks. He's, getting cheered for. Philip Akron needs to get his, name, once again known. So, by him starting a rivalry with Prophecy, I think it would be an interesting rivalry, and I would look forward to it. After that was Enigma attacking Alex, and that's it. Afterwards was the 2nd match, and it was Greyhound beating, or DHIG versus Greyhound, and Greyhound won. It was a good match. I think Greyhound used the submission move where you have both legs behind you and both arms behind you, and you held there. It's very hard to get out of, so you pretty much tap and no one's broken out of it. I think that's Prophecy's move, actually, but I guess Greyhound took that over. Interesting match. I enjoyed it. A lot of high-risk moves. And, yeah. Then high-risk, well, we had someone come out of a limo and walk, down a little bit. And then they turned to the camera and said, "Hey, I'm in charge." It was high-risk, and high-risk was in charge for the night. And boy, did he get his ass beat. Oh, I'm sorry, his rear end beat. Beep. When he ended the show and what he said. I knew it was only going to be for tonight, and what he said at the end, I don't think it's going to happen, but only time will tell. Third match of the night was Gringo vs. Cannon. Gringo won. Cannon did not look like himself. He looked like he got injured or something. I think it was kicked in the head or something like that, and it was not the best landing for him, and he may have a concussion or something like that. But, hopefully he can overcome this and get back on his feet. So, wishing Cannon the best. Hopefully he's not hurt. Yeah, that's it. After that, Enigma told High Risk to watch out, or there's going to be a consequence. He told him, what happened to his son last week would happen to him tonight if he didn't look out. And I knew at that point High Risk was going to get attacked. Just didn't know when. But I kind of should maybe have expected it. But then again, I'll get into that later. After that was the fourth match, and it was Dwayne Porter versus Dustin Raymond. Dustin Raymond came back for the first time since Tap Out in May, and it was a match that I enjoyed. Dwayne Porter was eliminated from the Bulletproof Series last week, and that was the first time we've seen him since then. So Dustin Raymond came back after beating Yo-Yo Joe at Tap Out. Excuse me. In a filler match, and yeah, that's pretty much that. He did have a lot of clotheslines and body slams and suplexes and Irish whips and a bunch of moves that you really wouldn't expect Dwayne Porter to come up with, but you would expect Dustin Raymond to come up with. Both these performers are high flyers. Both these performers are powerhouses. And both these performers have a great chemistry, so, for them to fight in the fourth match, didn't really make a lot of sense. But, then again, having them face at Ultimate Consequence would be a great match for, a rivalry and for that pay-per-view. So I know USW is watching and listening to this right now, and so, based on what I've seen in this match tonight, I think it would be a great rivalry to have going into Ultimate Consequence. It's not the kind of rivalry, and it's not the kind of position where this is like a pay-per-view. It's not like it's the No Remorse pay-per-view going into Ultimate Consequence. This is coming into Ultimate Consequence, so it's not like you can't have a match and you get to build it up more for the next pay-per-view. You get to have this match for the next pay-per-view. So you get to start this match earlier and get a lot more fans on board with this rivalry, which is something that I think USW would have a great outcome with. Not great. So Dustin Raymond beat him, he won, and that's that. Congrats, Dustin Raymond. After that was Capital sneak attacking Enigma, but ended up going through a table. That's it. After that was the fifth match, and it was for the Blue Belt Championship. Anarchy vs. Ash. Anarchy beat Ash. And man, I'm really hoping this was a work, or it was scripted, hopefully. But what happened after the match? Anarchy sneak attacked Ash, and then did some kind of contraption with chairs, and put a chair over Ash's jaw, and another chair to keep that chair down. Went to the top rope after getting a ladder, and bludgeoning in Ash's jaw after jumping off the top of the ladder. It was so chilling to watch, and the fans loved it. They ate it up. even the commentary was saying during, or during the part where Anarchy and Ash were having to be brought to the backstage and how they were chanting, and since the announcers have a microphone built into the to the loudspeakers in the place that they wrestle in, the fans heard the announcers say, these fans are sick. I can't believe you guys like this. And then everybody started booing, and then I think Marcus Felton had a really touching moment, by this sentence, or these sentences, or I can't believe you guys like this kind of chaos. Now I think I'm ashamed to wrestle in to announce in USW, because if I have to sit here and watch somebody get beaten down when really he doesn't deserve it for an accident that really, even though was his fault, was not meant on purpose, and then gets beat down to the point where he may not be able to wrestle for weeks, maybe months, and yet these fans love the sight of this guy bleeding from his jaw, with his jaw probably split in half, and being as this is his career, this is not like this kind of some like backyard wrestling thing anymore. This is his career. Wrestling is his career. Yet he may have just had to end his career after getting his jaw possibly split in half. I cannot believe that you fans like the sight of a man possibly losing his career to something so brutal and devastating and absolutely chilling to watch. I can't believe you guys even are still here after watching that go down. And after he said something like, it's absolutely sad how you guys are cheering for something that was so bad and so wrong. Hopefully, you guys aren't sent to hell or punished by whoever may be controlling this world, or maybe controlling the things that happen in this world. Because, I don't know who believes in who. I don't know what religion you like. You practice. I don't care what your faith is. I'm hoping, because I'm a nice guy, and because I don't like seeing these kind of things, and this is absolutely wrong, especially considering this was not planned, I'm absolutely hoping that you guys are not going to get punished by whoever may punish you. Yes, you may enjoy fighting, and you may enjoy wrestling, and you may enjoy watching it, but please, don't cheer for something that was absolutely so wrong. Because the Lord, not the Lord, he said something about how the gods that you believe in may not like that, and may not forgive you for cheering for this. Please just be a fan and enjoy watching wrestling, but don't cheer for something that was absolutely terrible. And afterwards, the fans, we're in New York, so with these fans, they love wrestling, they love fighting, they love getting into arguments and fighting and all that, they love blood. A lot of people see that, every day. And then, with these guys and these fans in attendance, they're chanting, we are sorry, you are right. And that was absolutely crazy to me. I was in the backstage area, listening to the fans. I was in the backstage area, and the backstage area is not somewhere where you're supposed to hear the fans. Yet through the echoes, through the walls, through the ceiling, I heard the fans chanting, we are sorry, you are right. That was absolutely touching, and I'm glad to see that Marcus Felton can actually do something to help cheer up the crowd and help, make them, rethink about their actions. That's absolutely amazing, and that, I think now that if Kyle Reese were to stop being on commentary, I think Marcus Felton can do it on his own. I think he can be a commentator on his own and just rock at it. If he gets people in New York to chant, we are sorry, you are right, for cheering about something so brutal, then that's crazy. And what happened was, afterwards, Anarchy had to be brought back to the backstage area. Doctors came out for Ash, whose jaw, it was literally a laceration. His jaw was, like, there was a gash going across his jaw. Like, if you've seen the movie Smiley, you know how there's, like, a smile engraved to his mask, and it looks like it's just a face with two eyes, and a smile slashed in? That's what his jaw looked like. Imagine that smile underneath your jaw, underneath your chin, having that there, and having blood come down from your chin. And I mean, they tried to put a towel on it, and yet it burned. That was absolutely crazy, and just watching that, I ended up watching Ash be put into an ambulance and taken to the hospital. That was, oh, I can't believe that even happened. That's just tragic. I'm really hoping he gets to be back sooner or later. I'd be amazed if he even came back next week. That's just, oh, that was chilling for me to watch. I had goosebumps all over my arms, and it was chilling. Anyway, Anarchy won. After that, Chris Ross beat Chain Reaction. Chain Reaction came back, not to the win, but Chris Ross versus Chain Reaction. So, yeah. Chain Reaction lost. After that, Enigma, there's something about Enigma, he was walking through, like, the halls or something with the title belts, and afterwards was the 7th match, Majigeta vs. Western Light. Western Light beat Majigeta by a count, and after the match, Fernandez and Gringo started beating down on Majigeta. Fernandez came back as well. And before Majigeta and Western Light were talking about how there are these young guys coming for the International Championship. And Majigeta said, they're targeting me for the International Championship, and they're targeting you because you're the other performer that's been here the longest, or been working in wrestling the longest, and is not really doing anything right now. Because then he said something about how they're not going to want to get into an argument with Enigma. They're not going to want to go and tag team up again against Cannon. And they're not going to want to go against Yo-Yo Joe because they wouldn't have anything or get anything out of it. And because they're targeting the International Championship, because Majigeta, likes Western Light as a friend and as an ally, then, and trusts him, then they're going to go after Majigeta and Western Light because they're, close and they've got a bond and they've got that kind of trust, So, yeah, that's what I get out of that one. And so Fernandez and Gringo attacked Majigeta, and then Western Light tried to stop it, but then he got attacked, Majigeta got attacked, and Western Light got attacked, and Fernandez and Gringo stood tall, and that was that. Afterwards was Enigma walking down the hall with both belts. Then was the 8th match, and Enigma vs. Yo-Yo Joe. Enigma won. And then afterwards, with Enigma laying against the steel steps, High Risk came out and announced that High Risk was going to be the #1 contender for the USW Championship at Ultimate Consequence. Then he got brutalized by Enigma. Yo-Yo Joe tried to stop it, but, Then, High Risk was pretty much knocked unconscious times like 63. And then got put through a table. And I guess he really didn't heed the warning that Enigma sent him. So even though I didn't really put out the greatest review, even though it wasn't a good review tonight, it still was a great show last night, and I enjoyed it. So, excuse me. This is something that I may do for a while, or a little bit. I'm going to read you the things that are on the USW website. First off, in the Bulletproof series, first is Rush 76, Prophecy 71, DHIG 63, Cannon 54, Greyhound 49, Gringo 49, Philip Akron 39. I'm going to read you the headlines. USW Wednesday Night Intensity, July 9th, 2014. Recap. Risk taken by High Risk. Going through a roller coaster of a night, We had to get by the main event match and hope that we would not get another boss beatdown, as both High Risk and Enigma were present in the building. Enigma would face the person he beat to retain the championship at Hardcore Heaven, and the first performer to go face-to-face was Zach Hardy as Enigma after being revealed and the performer is Yo-Yo Joe. The two went back and forth, with Enigma and Yo-Yo Joe pulling off big moves. Enigma was able to kick out of the string effect and capitalize with a spear to win the match. Afterwards, High Risk would come out and announce that he would face Enigma at USW Ultimate Consequence for the title. That was all followed by a beatdown between Enigma and High Risk, as Enigma would use chairs, ladders, and any weapons you can think of at ringside to beat down Kyrise's father until performing a leg drop through a table to seal his word. Then there's the title. Anarchy, Dustin Raymond, Chain Reaction, Fernandez make big returns. Featuring 4 returns, Intensity on July 9th was a big shocker when it came to seeing performers for the first time in a while. The first return was Dustin Raymond, who hadn't been seen in the ring for around a month and a half, until he came back and beat Dwayne Porter to welcome himself back to the wrestling organization in his home state of New York. Then we had Anarchy, featured in his return match against Ash, defending the Blue Belt Championship in a winning effort against Ash, and afterwards getting even with Ash by cracking his jaw open with a chair and a high-risk move that may have taken Ash out of wrestling for a while. Then came Chain Reaction, losing to Chris Ross in his return match, but very impressive when he had the chances. And then you had Fernandez, who hasn't been seen since being eliminated from the Bulletproof Series, and coming back to attack Mosh Guerra and Western Light with his partner Gringo, signaling that he was coming for the International Championship. So that's those were the headlines. Anything else on the Twitter message board things? Nope. I believe that's it. The results, all that stuff. Enigma still the champion, or Enigma the USW title, Capital USW World title, Anarchy Blue Belt, Crimson Red Extreme, Canon and Prophecy tag title and tags. Once more the results for tonight's or last night's Intensity. Let me just get there. Philip Akron beat Prophecy, Greyhound beat DHIG, Gringo beat Cannon, Dustin Raymond beat Dwayne Porter, Anarchy beat Ash, Chris Ross beat Chain Reaction, Western Light beat Mosh Guerra, Enigma beat Yo-Yo Joe. So that was that, guys. So thank you for watching this review. I will be putting out a video later on in the week. It'll be about the USW Wrestling video game. It's called USW Wrestling 2015, the game. I'll be putting out a review and all that stuff, later in the week. And I may do another one after I complete the 5 mode. It's, I'm still, considering I know Zach Hardy. I started out with Zach Hardy, or I'm going to start out with Zach Hardy. I'm going to start the 5 mode today. But anyways, yeah, that's that, guys. Excuse me. That was my review on the July 9th, 2014 edition of USW Intensity. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Chase Clover, signing off.